Chapter 4308. Old Lu, don't you want to be immortal? When Linya asked this question, she was a little mysterious, and there was endless strangeness in that mystery. Professor Lu froze. He didn't expect that Linya's scheme was for immortality, yaya, in the 6 realms of reincarnation, birth, old age, illness, and death. These are unchangeable laws. It's the cycle of nature. Humans aren't an immortal species. I don't know what method you used, whether you found it out or what, but it's a terrifying thing in itself. The professor tried to calm himself down as he spoke. However, when he saw Linya's youthful face, he felt even more terrified. Could it be that she, on the other side of the world? At this moment, Huamin, or rather, the clone of Huamin, was Layla. She used Huamin's body to seduce Qin Chu but failed, so she ran amok. Ever since she and Jingde 002 appeared in this city, there had been one murder case after another. They were all horrifying big cases. Gao Ran, the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, was about to lose his position. Even the mayor and secretary were in danger, and the rumors about vampires became more and more unscrupulous. But Layla had no intention of restraining herself. She had always thought that as an advanced species, she didn't care about humans. They looked down on stupid and low-level humans, so they would still hunt for food as much as they liked. Sometimes, even when she wasn't hungry, she would torture and kill innocent people. She didn't dare to go back to South Hill Manor because Qin Chu had bought a few giant dogs. Or rather, she didn't dare to offend Qin Chu. After all, with Layla's combat strength, she shouldn't be afraid of a few giant dogs. So, she took the opportunity of running away from home and went to live in a hotel. Then, she immediately contacted Suyu. Considering many factors, Suyu didn't come. Instead, he asked Han Yueyao, who had a good relationship with Huamin, to come. But when Han Yueyao came, she was sent away. After that, Huamin sent another WeChat message to Suyu. Huamin, it's fine if you don't want to come. Let someone else come. Do you know how I feel? I just feel that you're being perfunctory. Suyu, Mian, don't be angry. Don't be stubborn. I'll go find you now, okay? Huamin, no, don't come. Although Huamin said that, she knew that Suyu wouldn't leave her alone. After all, Suyu had always liked Huamin. If Qin Chu didn't come, Suyu would. She had guessed correctly. Suyu didn't want to upset Huamin, so he drove his sports car here himself. However, on his way to the hotel, he was stopped by a black Bentley at the intersection. Seeing the license plate number, Suyu was slightly surprised. Then, he got out of the car. Qin Chu? Suyu had called him, but he didn't pick up or reply to his WeChat messages. So, Suyu was surprised to see him here. Where are you going? Qin Chu asked him calmly. To the hotel. Are you going to see Mian? Qin Chu asked. Yes. Don't go. Why? This is between us. Don't interfere, Suyu. Qin Chu's tone was as cold as ever. Suyu was a bit annoyed by it. But he respected Qin Chu's attitude. Qin Chu, you and Mian are husband and wife. I know I'm an outsider and shouldn't interfere. But don't you think you two have been acting strange recently? Qin Chu didn't say anything. This isn't the first time. What on earth are you thinking? I don't believe that you have an affair, and I don't believe that you can't get over it just because she lost the child. I saw that you sent Pudding and Little Bean away. What on earth do you want? This was the first time Suyu had spoken so bluntly to Qin Chu with such harsh words. Chapter 4309. Between me and Mian, it's not something that can be explained in a few words. Not even me. Seeing that Qin Chu didn't want to say it, Suyu was a little sad. Suyu, let me ask you, can you be ruthless and leave her alone? No. Then you still like her, right? Suyu licked his dry lips and didn't answer. Forget it. If you want to help her, you can go. It's up to you. With that, Chin Chu drove away. Suyu was dumbfounded. Chin Chu appeared with such a premeditated plan, but he left without saying anything important. This caught Suyu off guard, at the door of the hotel suite. The doorbell rang. Huamin walked over and opened the door with a smug smile. She thought it must be Suyu. Therefore, in order to seduce him, she even wore a bathrobe. She had long wanted to take the opportunity to create some scandals with Suyu and embarrass Chin Chu. Most importantly, she wanted to embarrass Huamin and make her a slut that everyone would hate. Did you know why Layla hated Huamin so much? Linya and Messiah were probably the only ones who knew this. However, the moment she opened the door, before she could react, 2 tall bodyguards grabbed her by the hair and dragged her out. What are you doing? Layla wasn't sure who these people were. Just as she was about to make a move, she saw Chin Chu standing at the end of the corridor. Madam, sir invited you home for dinner. After the 2 bodyguards said this expressionlessly, they roughly led her out of the hotel. The hotel staff knew that they were husband and wife, so they naturally didn't care. Chin Chu brought his men and kidnapped this woman from the back door. When Suyu arrived, he naturally didn't catch her. Then, Suyu called Huamin's phone, but it was turned off and he didn't know where she was. Suyu was worried that something had happened to her, so he foolishly called Jiang Xiaowei. After hearing this, Jiang Xiaowei calmly analyzed the situation. Lord Su, don't interfere in their business, Jiang Xiaowei advised. Xiaowei, do you think I'm being nosy too? Su Yu's heart chilled. That's not it. I just think that a person like Chin Chu has always been reliable. If he told you not to interfere, then he might really settle it himself. If we interfere, it will complicate their relationship. Maybe. I'm unnecessary. Disappointed, Suyu called Jiang Xiaowei for a while. After comforting him for a while, Jiang Xiaowei drove away. After wandering around the streets for a long time, he realized that he was unfamiliar with this city. He didn't know where he was going, so he just wandered around the streets. Finally, he stopped at the entrance of Imperial Star's staff dormitory. Suyu froze for a moment. Then, he pulled over, took out his phone, leaned against the driver's seat, and sent a WeChat message to Han Yueyao. Suyu, are you there? Han Yueyao, no. Suyu, don't talk nonsense. Why are you talking if you're not there? Han Yueyao, oh, then let's start again. Sorry, the subscriber you called is not in the service area. Please try again later. Suyu, Han Yueyao, ha ha ha, are you dumbfounded? Suyu, is that how you talk to your boss? Do you want to quit your job? Han Yueyao, are you dumbfounded? It's after work. Whose boss are you? You're at most a passerby. Suyu, Han Yueyao, okay, I'll stop teasing you. What do you want, President Su? Suyu, come out for a drink. It's a little boring. Han Yueyao, you're in the mood? Where are you? I'll go find you. Suyu, right outside your dormitory. Chapter 43:10. Han Yueyao, at the door? Don't play with me. Suyu, you'll know when you come out. Hearing this message, Han Yueyao put on her coat and opened the door. Sure enough, she saw Suyu's car parked by the side of the road. Damn. It's true. Then why are you sitting in the car? It's so cold. Han Yueyao immediately invited Suyu. To drink with you? I have wine in my dorm. Why don't you come to my dorm to drink? Han Yueyao had already changed into her home clothes, so she didn't bother to brush her hair and wash her face. So she didn't think much of it and invited Suyu in. But to her surprise, she was accused of seducing him with ulterior motives. Suyu thought this method was feasible, so he parked the car in the parking lot and went straight to Han Yueyao's dorm. They went directly to Han Yueyao's dorm room. To avoid the awkwardness, Han Yueyao changed into thick home clothes. It was a yellow suit with a duck pattern, and she wore a bunny ear headband to wash her face. She was super cute. Super home, then her face was clean and there was nothing on it. It was rare to see Han Yueao like this. After Su Yu came in, he playfully pulled the bunny ear on her head. Not to be outdone, Han Yueao punched Su Yu. Look at you. You're a girl, but you're always so rough. Which man will like you? Humph. Many people like me. I have millions of fans on Weibo. I don't believe that there's no man. Han Yueao tilted her head. You're always bickering with me, so you didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After entering the dorm, he found it pitifully small. There wasn't even a sofa. This dorm room was the same as when Han Yueao first moved in. The room she shared with Su Xiaoxiao was the accommodation arranged by Imperial Star for female newcomers. In order to be closer to Lin Hang's car repair shop, Su Xiaoxiao refused the mansion Su Yu arranged for her. She lived in this 40-square-meter place. Later, Han Yueao moved in. They were very close and were even more reluctant to leave. Now, Su Xiaoxiao had gone to the northwest to serve as a soldier. Han Yueao was used to living here and didn't move out. Previously, her manager and assistant had told her that with how popular she was now, she could totally apply to Su Yu for a private residence. It would also be more private to prevent paparazzi from following them. But Han Yueao rejected it. She felt comfortable and safe here. After living there for a long time, he would treat it as his second home. Su Yu hadn't paid attention to this place before, and this was the first time he had come in to take a look. He found that there was no sofa. The only place to put things was the empty bed where Su Xiaoxiao lived. On it were Han Yueao's bags and scarves. I say, do you have any plans to move out? Su Yu asked tentatively. President Su, are you going to buy me a luxurious house? She smiled as she poured water for Su Yu. I don't have a mansion, but the company has a lot of luxury apartments in the city center. They are more than 100 square meters. I can give you one. Are you lending it to me or giving it to me? You're smart. I'll give it to you. Su Yu chuckled. This little girl was too smart. Haha. I don't want it. I haven't made much money for the company yet. I don't dare to take credit. To be honest, I'm not being pretentious. It's quite comfortable here. You said this rat's nest is comfortable? Su Yu looked around the dorm room with disdain. Chapter 43:11. Isn't this rat's nest prepared by our company for our employees? Su Yu was speechless. Aren't you embarrassed, President Su? Ha 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 ha. Don't laugh. You can stuff a goose egg into your mouth. Why don't you have any burden of being an idol? The entertainment industry is all about character design. Look at the popular actresses. Some dress themselves as foodies, some dress themselves as silly girls, and some dress themselves as straight-A students. Look at you. I dress myself as Hinata. What do you think? Han Yueao put her hands on her hips and smiled seductively. Who? Su Yu didn't hear her clearly. Hinata. Who's Hinata? Su Yu had never heard of her. She's Naruto's wife, Hinata, in the super popular Japanese anime Naruto. Come here. I promise I won't beat you to death. Su Yu was fuming. He was talking to Han Yueao about character design in the entertainment industry. But she was talking to him about anime with a straight face. Her IQ wasn't online at all. Come on, President Su. Drink some water to calm your anger. Han Yueao held a glass of water and began to flatter him. Didn't you say you have beer at home? Su Yu looked around with the glass in his hand and saw a small fridge in the corner. He was fascinated. It didn't look like it could store much beer. Yeah. There's beer. I can drink at least 7 beers. How many can you store in your crappy fridge? Su Yu was doubtful. Who said I wanted beer? Han Yueao rolled her eyes. What else? Su Yu looked at her in confusion. Han Yueao squatted down and pulled something out from under her bed. Then, a cardboard box was pulled out without any warning. Su Yu was speechless. Han Yueao opened the box slowly and took out a small bottle. Jingdu erguotu. Ha ha ha. It can hold 12 bottles in a box. Is it enough for you? Han Yueao shook the bottle. Where did you get this? Su Yu was shocked. It was the first time he saw a box of liquor in a girl's house. What kind of combat power was this? My dad sent it to me. It's not the kind sold outside. It's brewed with our own food and packaged it himself. Every year when it's the spring festival, he'll make some for his relatives and friends. It's very popular. The liquor is very fragrant and can't be bought outside. Your dad is really amazing, Su Yu exclaimed. Then you see, experts are among the people. How about it, President Su? Do you want to drink? Sure. Su Yu was in a bad mood, so he wanted to drink some wine to ease the depression in his heart. All right, let's drink this then. I'll go prepare some dishes to go with the wine. Then, she ran into the kitchen, then, with lightning speed, he made 4 dishes to go with the wine. Of course, they were all very simple, just a portion of drunkard's peanuts. And. It took her less than 5 minutes to cook a plate of fried eggs. And a plate of cucumber salad with garlic. It was also very simple. This was probably the crudest thing Su Yu had ever eaten in his life. No, the most simple and crude one should be the time when he was escaping from Yunnan, when he ate corn paste. This was probably the poorest thing Su Yu had ever eaten when he was drinking in the city. But he thought it was quite interesting. The two of them sat around a small table. They sat on a shabby stool, they drank cheap erguotu. I know why you're depressed. It's because of Sister Mian, right? Han Yueao looked at Su Yu and asked him. Chapter 43:12. Su Yu's face froze slightly. Then he sighed slightly. Let's not talk about her today. Hearing Su Yu's words, Han Yueao wasn't stupid and didn't want to make Su Yu feel gloomy. She changed the topic. President Su, what do you think of Miss Nye? Which Miss Nye? Su Yu didn't know how to react. The great beauty Nye Lingxian. Oh, her. Su Yu picked up his wine glass and took a sip of white wine. I think great beauty Nye is a good woman. In the past few years, Imperial Star has promoted many artists, but she seems to have the best reputation. She doesn't bully newcomers and respects seniors. She doesn't break any unspoken rules and doesn't cause any disputes about contract terminations. She doesn't create hype and acts normally. To be honest, I'm very envious of stars who can achieve this. I want to be like her and have no regrets. Little Nye is indeed a good person. Su Yu picked up a piece of cucumber and put it in his mouth. Instantly, the fragrance overflowed. For some reason, his mood lightened a lot. Su Yu praised Nye Lingxian highly. Of course, Nye Lingxian wasn't comparable to the green tea bitches like Jian Tong and Zhao Qingya. Many people are talking about you too. Did you two really have a relationship? Han Yueao began to gossip. Are you an artist or a paparazzi? Why are you so curious? Su Yu was amused. I'm just curious. Tell me. I bet 500 yuan that you two had a romantic history. Then your 500 yuan is probably more worthless than Do E. There's nothing between me and little Nye. Really? Han Yueao obviously didn't believe him. It's no good lying to you. Why not? Great beauty Nye is beautiful and low-key. She's really good. President Su, you have no reason not to like her. Su Yu chuckled and said, it's fine. If Mian hadn't appeared, I might have fallen in love with little Nye. After all, she's really outstanding and suitable to be my wife. It's just that, fate is playing with me. At the mention of Mian, Han Yueao had mixed feelings. It turned out that it wasn't that Su Yu didn't like Nye Lingxian. It was because after he got together with Min, all the concubines in his harem paled in comparison. Then, she felt that her friendship with Su Yu seemed to be far away in the future. After all, Suyu's feelings for Huamin would only deepen with each passing day, and would not gradually fade away, so that's how it is. Ha! Come, let's drink. Han Yueyao smiled awkwardly and raised her glass. Just like that, the two of them ate a few simple dishes and chatted while drinking. Meanwhile, after Huamin was taken away, Qin Chu did not go to South Hill Manor. Instead, he went to a strange mansion. Huamin, or rather, Layla, tried hard to search her memory but found that Huamin had never been to this place before. Let go of me, she struggled to break free and fell onto the sofa. Qin Chu walked in. Sir. The two bodyguards greeted him respectfully. You can leave now. I have something to say to her. Yes, sir. After the bodyguards left, Qin Chu glanced at Huamin but didn't speak. You sent people to take me back. Is this how you coax your wife? Hee hee. Qin Chu, are you crazy? Huamin questioned angrily. It was said that Qin Chu spoiled Huamin to the extreme. In the past, Layla had envied him to death. Now that she saw it with her own eyes, she couldn't bear to look at it. Chapter 43:13. What do you think? Do you like it here? Qin Chu raised his head and looked around. He seemed to be asking her about the house. Here? Where is this place? I've never been here before. Huamin said. Emicham, this is my new mansion. It's a gift to you, for me? Huamin was a little confused. Yes, a gift to you. I believe you'll like it here. Huamin looked around and found that the decorations were very dark. The style was a mix of black and brown, giving off a very depressing feeling. The mansion was very big, but the overall feeling wasn't good. It felt like a haunted house or a haunted house. Honey, why did you give me a mansion all of a sudden? Are you feeling guilty because you haven't treated me well recently? Huamin's expression suddenly changed. He smiled and then stood up, because I don't want you to get angry and run around. You haven't been feeling very well recently. I think you shouldn't go anywhere. Stay here and rest. What do you mean by that? Hearing Qin Chu's words, Huamin's expression immediately changed. It's for your own good. I hope you can stay here and rest. Then, Qin Chu casually picked up her bag. He opened it and took out her ID, passport, and cell phone. Then, he threw the bag back onto the sofa. Qin Chu, how dare you put me under house arrest? Huamin finally understood Qin Chu's purpose. He was going to put her under house arrest. If you understand it that way, there's nothing wrong with it. Qin Chu's lips curled up into a faint smile. Then, he turned around to leave. Huamin clenched her fists tightly. Then, she rushed up. She reached out to grab Qin Chu's collar, but a bodyguard appeared out of nowhere and stopped her. Madam, you should stay here and rest. Don't disobey Mr. Qin's orders. Qin Chu, you can't do this. You can't do this to me. I should have done this to you a long time ago. Qin Chu turned around, his face expressionless. I want to see my mother. Can you send me to Sky Blessing Court? I don't think Mom would want to see you. Qin Chu finally turned around and left. The door slammed shut, then, the lights dimmed. She raised her head and glanced at the corner again. He was on the verge of breaking down. There were probably no less than 100 surveillance cameras. Qin Chu not only put her under house arrest, but also closely monitored her. Could it be that this man had discovered something? That shouldn't be the case. He never had any evidence against me. A villa was guarded by 4 foreign bodyguards. Qin Chu put Huamin, or Layla, under house arrest. He was not doing this to destroy her immediately, nor was it to force her to tell him where Huamin was. He just wanted to see how strong this woman was. Only then would Qin Chu have the chance to carry out the next step of his plan. Layla was locked in the villa. On the surface, she looked scared and panicked, but in reality, to her, this was nothing. It was just that she couldn't unleash that inhuman power in front of Qin Chu. At this moment, on the other side of the earth. After the professor failed to ask for the red demon for the first time, Linya locked the professor in a white room without any communication. Lu Yen was also injected with some unknown drug and fell into a deep coma. She was sent back to the crystal coffin. Only Huamin was still awake, inside the magnificent palace. Master. What's the matter? Linya's expression didn't look good. She had been recalling what the professor had just said to her. Our remote device detected that Miss Layla is in China. She seems to be in some trouble, Messiah said. Chapter 43:14. What trouble? Linya turned her head expressionlessly and glanced at Messiah. Miss Layla seems to have been put under house arrest by Qin Chu, then she's really useless. Linya laughed mockingly. Miss Layla might also be afraid of what Master told her before. She doesn't dare to release non-human powers in public, especially in the country. It won't be good if the local government is alerted. She might be captured and used as a test subject when she goes back. That's why she's useless. I gave her so many special attributes, but in the end, she only knows how to eat children, useless things, Linya scolded. Should we help her? Messiah asked softly. What help? If she can't even solve this small matter, let her fend for herself. Linya's attitude towards Layla was extremely cold. Huamin always said that Linya didn't deserve to be a mother and was especially heartless to her. That was because she had never seen Linya's attitude towards Layla. If she saw it, she might know what true heartless meant. Yes, Master. Seeing that Linya didn't want to care about Layla's life at all, Messiah knew what was going on. In the past, when Linya missed her daughter, she would occasionally be a little nicer to Layla because she treated her as Huamin. She treated her as Huamin's replacement. But now, Huamin was right in front of her. She was no longer in the mood to care about Layla. After all, she was one of her test subjects. In her words, she was a flawed test subject. Although Layla was physically stronger and faster, exactly like Huamin, she didn't have a human brain. However, she didn't have a human brain, nor did she inherit the excellent genes of the professor and Linya like Huamian. Layla didn't know much about medicine, but Huamin was a true genius. Therefore, even though Linya was selfish, she still had some affection for Huamin. After all, he was her biological son. Actually, Linya's love was somewhat similar to Hua Xiqian's. Both of them thought that he loved Huamin very much and wanted to give her the best, but he never cared about her feelings. Where's Mian? When Linya mentioned Huamin, her eyes unconsciously became gentler. Miss Mian, she's having breakfast. How's your appetite? Not bad. You ate quite a lot. You seem to be in a good mood. Yes, I'll go and see her. With that, Linya walked down the temple and headed towards Huamin. Messiah didn't dare to say anything and just followed behind Linya silently. Linya's face was probably the most beautiful oriental face. Therefore, no matter what she wore, she was devastatingly beautiful. Huamin felt that when she was wearing the queen's outfit, she gave people a very distant feeling. However, when she wore casual clothes, she still felt very distant. Perhaps it was because she was too beautiful. Inside Huamin's room, she sat in front of a table with dozens of breakfast plates from all over the world on it. They all tasted pretty good. She had been here for a while. Huamin realized that the people here seemed to be otherworldly. At least, he had never seen Messiah eat anything. It was as if everyone only prepared breakfast, lunch, and dinner for her. At first, Huamin was conflicted and wanted to leave this place. He hated Linya, so his appetite was very bad. However, recently, the baby had not been moving and the delivery was delayed. Huamin began to worry about the child, so he began to replenish his and the child's energy. Therefore, when Linya came in, Huamin was eating wonton noodles with relish. Mian, you have a good appetite today. Are the wonton noodles delicious? Linya smiled. Chapter 43:15. As soon as Linya came in, Hua Min's good mood was completely ruined. She kept a straight face and didn't look up. She just lowered her head and replied impatiently, "It's okay." "Miss Mian, the noodles were made by Master herself," Messiah added. She seemed to want to see their relationship improve. Upon hearing Messiah's words, Hua Min immediately put down his chopsticks. Then, he picked up the bread beside him. Obviously, after knowing that Linya made it herself, she didn't want to eat it and completely rejected this bowl of noodles. "Messiah, you can leave first." "Yes, Master." Linya walked over elegantly and sat across from Hua Min. Then, she picked up an orange and patiently peeled it. Oranges contain a lot of vitamins, so you have to eat more of them. Back then, when I was pregnant with you, I really liked oranges. Your father bought me a lot of them. At that time, we were on the run in Dong Tao Town, so it was inconvenient. Your father bought almost all the oranges in town. I even joked that after you were born, should name you Little Orange. This was a very warm topic. When Linya recalled this, her face was filled with happiness. However, he couldn't tell if she was sincere or not. After all, this woman was too good at acting. In the blink of an eye, you're already so old. Your father is much older and has a lot of white hair. Linya said. Isn't it normal to be old? Everyone gets old. Birth, old age, illness, and death are the laws of nature, Hua Min replied coldly. Mian, do you think I'm old? Linya reached out her slender hand and placed it on the back of Hua Min's hand. Her hand was cold. The moment she touched Hua Min, her heart skipped a beat. It was as if she was afraid for no reason. Hua Min quickly pushed Linya's hand away. You'll always be young and beautiful, all right? If you want to hear people praise you, I suggest you look for your subordinates. After all, my ability is limited, and I have a strange personality. I don't like to flatter people. If I say too much, I might say something unpleasant. Don't be disappointed. I know you have something against me. Linya looked at Hua Min calmly. Hua Min was so angry that he put down the bread. She raised her head and glared at Linya. I don't just have a problem with you. I'm so disappointed in you. Let's not talk about our relationship for now. You put me under house arrest, locked up Yen, and captured Dad. Then you put on a show of family reunion. What do you think? Dr. Linya, have you had enough fun? Don't you think it's fun to have the whole world act with you? Mian, let me ask you a question first. Answer me honestly. Go ahead, Hua Min replied snappily. Do you want to live forever? I want to. Although I don't look that good, I also want to stay young forever. It's best if time can always be fixed on my current appearance. I'm 30 years old, steady and mature, and I can cuddle with my husband forever. What Hua Mian said was purely a feeling, it wasn't what she really thought. This was because she knew that the concept of immortality was impossible to achieve with the current technology of the human race. It could only appear in novels and movies. If mommy has a way to live forever, are you willing to help me? So that we can live forever together. You mean, you have a way to live forever? Hua Min looked at Linya suspiciously, not sure if she was telling the truth or not. Chapter 43:16. In Sea City, China. Probably because he was in a bad mood, Suyu drank some white wine and got drunk. Han Yueyao was glad to see that Suyu was a little drunk. She secretly sent a WeChat message to An, come to my dorm and pick up President Su. Huh? President Su is in your dorm? An was surprised. Yeah. Ha ha ha. Are you two already? Yeah. We're drunk. Then I'll pick him up tomorrow morning. You two can. He. And had always wanted his boss to end her single life. He knew that his boss was in love with Dr. Hua, so he naturally wanted her to have a new relationship. Han Yueyao was a good girl, so An wanted to set them up. Damn. What are you thinking? There's nothing between us. President Su is just in a bad mood and wants to have a drink with me. Hurry up and come and pick him up. Hurry up. I'm going out later and won't be home. It'll be bad if he gets drunk again and hits the wall. Okay. You're such an unromantic woman. You didn't take advantage of such a good opportunity. Don't regret it in the future, and chuckled. Regret your ass. Hurry up and come. If he vomits at my house, I'll kick him out, although Han Yueyao said that she couldn't bear to kick Suyu out. She was already happy that Suyu came to her when he was in a bad mood. Suyu was in a bad mood and was a little drunk after a few drinks. His words were also unclear. Han Yueyao felt that no matter how much she liked Suyu, she didn't have to take advantage of him when he was drunk. This wasn't an honorable thing to do. In less than 20 minutes, and came. He helped the sleepy Suyu away. Han Yueyao, let's drink another day. Suyu was obviously not convinced. When he left, he even said that they would drink another day. Afraid that he was cold, Han Yueyao tied one of her scarves around Suyu's neck. Then, he helped him get him into the car and watched the car drive away. After Suyu left, she put on her coat, bought some fruits and flowers, and went to the hospital. Southside Sanatorium. Lin Heng was very happy to see her. It's so late. Why are you here? Yes, I heard that you weren't in a good mood during the day. Han Yueyao recalled that Lin Heng's friends had called her during the day and told her that Lin Heng was in a bad mood after the dialysis. Have a seat first. Is it cold outside? Lin Heng looked at her gently and asked. It's not cold. This winter is much warmer than the previous years. Of course, as a foreigner, I don't know about this. I saw it on the local news. Ha. Yeah, it hasn't snowed much this winter. The weather is getting warmer and warmer. Do you want an apple? I'm not eating any more. Where are the bananas? Lin Heng shook his head. Then I'll wash a pear for you. It'll moisten your lungs and stop your cough. Before Lin Heng could respond, she picked up a snow pear and walked to the washroom to wash it. After wiping it clean, she handed it to him carefully. Thank you, Yao Yao. Don't mention it. What's wrong? Is the dialysis very painful today? I heard that you weren't very cooperative today. Han Yueyao asked him. Lin Heng took a small bite of the snow pear and lowered his head. Yao Yao, I don't want to continue the treatment. I want to leave the hospital. Han Yueyao's heart sank when she heard Lin Heng's words. Why? It's not like you can't cure it. I'll take care of the money. Don't think too much. It's not about money. I just think that instead of living here suffering, I'd better use the rest of my time to do something I really want to do. We'll do it when you're better, Han Yueyao persuaded him. But I know that I won't be able to recover. I don't have much time left. Chapter 43:17. Don't talk nonsense. Don't say such unlucky things. Lin Heng's self-abandonment made Han Yueyao unhappy. Displeased, Han Yueyao scolded him. Yao, the doctor told me about my condition. You don't have to hide it from me. If I can't find a suitable kidney for transplant, I won't live for more than a year. A year is a long time. We'll find one. Heartbroken, Han Yueyao comforted him in a soft voice. What if we still can't find one? Lin Heng looked into Han Yueyao's eyes and asked word for word. Han Yueyao was silent. She didn't know how to answer. She just wanted to cry. Yao, do you know that although I run a repair shop, play with cars, and modify cars, it's not my real dream. Don't tell me you want to be an actor. Han Yueyao teased him. No. The entertainment industry isn't for me. I really want to go back to the small mountain village and build a small house with my own yard. I want to grow some vegetables and enjoy the view of the flowers in the spring, the green grass in the summer, the yellow leaves in the autumn, and the white snow in the winter. Then I'll have a fire in my little house, go hunting in the mountains, eat wild game, drink wine, and eat meat. I'll be free, sounds good. I want to go too. Han Yueyao smiled. If I get better, I'll go back to the mountain village and be a hunter. You can be a village girl. What do you think? Haha. Good, good, good. Han Yueyao laughed. But a village girl isn't as beautiful as you. Your skin is so soft and tender. It's a pity. Lin Heng smiled gently. It's okay. It'll turn red in a few days in the wind. Yao Yao, you don't have to pay for me anymore. Let me leave the hospital. If you really want to help me, then buy me a small house in the village. Help me fulfill my wish for the rest of my life. After I die, you can sell the house. Consider it as returning the money for the house to you. This way, I will feel at ease. Tui tui tui. Don't talk nonsense. You won't die, you're still young. Xiao Xiao even said, she wants to give you girls in the army. Let's not talk about this anymore. Come, dance for me. I really like the first dance you did on Dancing Allure. That was your first time on the stage. You were a little nervous and a little excited, but that dance was still beautiful. Even when I watched it on TV, I felt like this girl was really spiritual. Deal. With a smile, she stood up and played the song on her cell phone. Then, she dressed in casual clothes and danced for Lin Heng in the ward. She had never thought of herself as kind or great. However, he was willing to fulfill Lin Heng's small wish. He also sincerely hoped that he could get better. After all, this was a young life. The next morning at GK Corporation, after the morning meeting, Qin Shu returned to his office and immediately turned on the surveillance camera. He saw that everything in the villa was normal, as if nothing had happened. The woman was having her breakfast in the living room, taking her time. However, at 5 in the morning, there was a murder on the west side of the city. The victim was a 12-year-old boy. His heart was missing, and all the blood in his body had dried up. Qin Shu didn't know how she left the villa without anyone noticing. President Qin, someone's looking for you. Who is it? She said it's a young lady's friend. It's the superstar. Han Yueyao, Assistant Yang reported. Han Yueyao? Qin Shu found the name familiar and suddenly remembered who this girl was. Let her in. Qin Shu closed his laptop and stood up solemnly. President Qin, am I disturbing you? Han Yueyao walked in politely and nodded at Qin Shu. Chapter 43:18. No. Have a seat. Qin Shu was still cold and aloof. Assistant Yang immediately made a cup of coffee and placed it before Han Yueyao. Thank you. Han Yueyao smiled at Assistant Yang politely. She didn't have the aura of a superstar at all. Instead, she was down-to-earth and approachable. After all, Han Yueyao was now the most popular newcomer. Do you need something from me? Yes, President Qin. I know it's not appropriate to talk to you directly. I wanted to talk to Sister Mian, but her cell phone was turned off. Yeah. Mian hasn't been feeling well recently and is recuperating. You can talk to me if you need anything. Qin Shu tried to make his tone calm, not wanting to scare the girl away. President Qin, I won't hold back. I'll tell you. Here's the thing, Han Yueyao told him what she needed help with. Qin Shu nodded calmly. I understand what you mean. You want to treat your friend, right? Yes. He's hospitalized at Southside now? Yes, President Qin. His name? Lin Heng. Okay. I got it. I'll contact them tomorrow and follow up on this matter. President Qin, I heard that you and Sister Mian both studied medicine. Although you haven't practiced medicine in recent years, your medical skills are superb. My request may be unreasonable, but my friend is very young. I really don't want him to leave so easily. So I can pay for his medical expenses and surgery. I just want you to help him think of a way. Han Yueao knew it was wishful thinking for her to ask Qin Chu for help with her current status. He had no obligation to help her. But at the thought of Lin Heng's world-weary attitude, Han Yueao felt sad. So, she risked her dignity and came to see Qin Chu alone. At first, she was worried that Qin Chu would refuse to see her. But now it seemed that Qin Chu wasn't as cold as the rumors said. I received your request. Since you're Mion's friend, I'll do my best. Qin Chu never made promises easily, so he didn't make any promises. However, since he had expressed his willingness to help, he would definitely not sit idly by. Unsure, she stood up slightly. He bowed to Qin Chu. Thank you, President Qin. You're welcome. Then I'll leave first. I'll wait for your news. All right. Qin Chu nodded. Then she left the GK group. Assistant Yang had worked for Qin Chu for many years and had a deep relationship with him. Therefore, when she came in to clear the coffee, she didn't forget to tease him. President Qin, Han Yueao looks prettier in person than on TV. Her skin looks good and she's very approachable. Well, so? Are you interested? No. I'm fine with my wife. Ha ha ha. Assistant Yang was famous for being henpecked. Everyone in the company knew that. Is Jixin at the company? Director Jing is here. He seems to be arranging work in the small meeting room. Yes, tell him to come to my office when he's done. Yes, President Qin. After Assistant Yang left, Qin Chu was a little tired. Obviously, putting that monster woman under house arrest wasn't the best way. He had to find a way to prove that she was the murderer. Then he could immediately ask Gao Ran to arrest her. Otherwise, he really couldn't do anything to her. After all, Mion might still be in their hands. Qin Chu leaned back in his chair with a lot on his mind. At this moment, a video call invitation came from his phone. He immediately felt refreshed. Chapter 43:19. Ever since Huamin's accident, he rarely made video calls. Picking up the phone, Qin Chu looked at Pudding lovingly. Baby, Daddy, what are you doing? Pudding pretended to be mature, but her childish voice betrayed her. Before Qin Chu could finish, Pudding glanced at the furniture behind her father and interrupted him. It looks like you're still working overtime at the company, right? It's not really overtime. It's my family business and I don't get paid for it. But you didn't listen to us. Take care of yourself. Pudding's tone was a little reproachful but also full of love for her father. Qin Chu couldn't suppress the warmth in his heart, and a happy smile appeared on his face. Daddy is still young and doesn't need to take care of himself. I'm not like your grandpa who's about to retire. Tisk, second grandpa is better at maintaining his body than you. He runs every morning and doesn't eat anything too salty or sweet. Then, he goes to bed at 10:00 sharp every night. His biological clock is very punctual and very regular. Daddy, you have to learn from second grandpa. I know, my little princess. Qin Chu's eyes were filled with love only when he saw his daughter. At this moment, Little Bean stuck her head in and interrupted, Daddy, I'm your little princess. She's the big princess. You're wrong. Yes. Daddy, I was wrong. Humph. I know you don't care about me. Little Bean began to get jealous. How can that be? I love you both as much as I do. Send me an 888 yuan red envelope and I'll forgive you. Little Bean knew how to blackmail her daddy. Qin Chu wasn't angry. He just smiled. 888 yuan is too little. Daddy will give you 8,888 yuan, okay? Okay. Comrade Qin, I know you care about me. Little Comrade Qin, you blackmailed your daddy for so much money. Are you going to buy luxury goods for Buyuan? Qin Chu teased her. No. I can't afford luxury goods. Boyuan's requirements are very low. I'll go to Disney and buy him a set of Avengers characters. You're so nice to Boyuan. Do you have any gifts for Daddy? Chin Chu pretended to feel wronged. Little Bean covered her stomach and pointed at her daddy as she laughed. Oh my God, comrade old Chin, you actually know how to act like a spoiled child. People will always improve. Chin Chu was amused. Just because it's the first time Comrade Chin has acted coquettishly, I'm going to buy you a big present. What gift? Seeing Little Bean's gestures, Chin Chu was looking forward to seeing how big it was. Tell me, do you want to eat Black Swan cake or Haagen-Dazs ice cream cake? Chin Chu was speechless. Is this the big gift you were talking about? Chin Chu asked her. Don't you think it's a selfless sacrifice that I'm willing to let you eat my favorite cake? Yes, yes. Comrade Chin, you're so generous. Do you love me? Little Bean pointed at her handsome daddy on the other side of the screen. Yes, yes, yes. Do you love me a little more than you love my sister? Little Bean set a trap for her daddy. Fortunately, Chin Chu didn't fall for it. His mind was still clear. I love you both as much as I love you. Humph. Daddy, you always say the same thing. It's boring. Little Bean shook her butt and ran away. Pudding didn't move closer to the screen until her little sister and daddy were done. She whispered to Chin Chu, Daddy, how's Mommy doing? Chapter 43:20. Give me a little more time, Daddy. I'll handle it well. Pudding was probably the only one who could understand Chin Chu's words. The little girl nodded obediently. Daddy, when we go back, we'll be a happy family. I'll be able to see the mommy who loves us so much, Daddy, and this family so much, right? Yes. One word was Chin Chu's promise to his daughter. Then Daddy, you have to be good too. When we go back, we'll prepare a gift for you. Is it cake or ice cream? Chin Chu smiled. Neither. It's a gift that suits you very well. Okay, I'm looking forward to it, Daddy, let's go eat first. Okay, eat more. Daddy hopes that when you come back, you'll be a little chubbier than when you left. Of course, of course. We won't let you down, Daddy, Little Bean answered immediately. She was extremely cute. At this critical moment, perhaps only talking to his daughters could make Chin Chu temporarily forget his worries. 6 p.m., the employees of GK Corporation had all gotten off work, and only a few departments were working overtime. As usual, Chin Chu didn't get off work on time. He seemed to be waiting for someone here. 15 minutes later, the door to the president's office was pushed open, and a young man wearing an ancient Russian military double-breasted coat walked in. His short silver hair looked especially enchanting in the night. Brother-in-law. Fei, come. Although Chin Chu and Xiao Fei didn't have much contact, they seemed to know each other well. This time, Lu Yan went missing and Huamin was replaced. They were in the same boat. Therefore, Chin Chu secretly contacted Xiao Fei, and Xiao Fei rushed over overnight. Hearing Chin Chu's words, Xiao Fei nodded. He walked towards Chin Chu. Chin Chu pointed at the surveillance footage and asked Xiao Fei to watch it. He watched for about 10 minutes. It was the villa where Huamin was imprisoned. However, the footage was normal for more than 10 minutes. There was nothing unusual. Brother-in-law, what are you showing me? Take a closer look at the image. Chin Chu reminded. Xiao Fei stared at the screen again. Suddenly, his pupils dilated as if he had discovered something. This is a scene that has been tampered with. It's done by an expert hacker. Most people wouldn't be able to see any clues. Yes. Chin Chu nodded. Did you decipher the image? Almost there. How are your hacking skills? Chin Chu admitted that his hacking skills were not as good as Huamin's or Lu Yan's. Most people did not have such high talent, so he thought of Xiao Fei. From this incident, if Hua Min was switched, then Lu Yan's disappearance in Yunnan must have something to do with this woman. Therefore, it would be better for the two of them to work together to deal with this mysterious monster. I'm not as good as Yan, but I can try. Xiao Fei took off his coat and threw it on the sofa. Then, he quickly typed on the keyboard. After 3 seconds, his expression was one of slight disappointment. It's too fast. I can't remember so many passwords. Brother-in-law, why don't we try it together? Xiao Fei reacted quickly. He suddenly remembered why Qin Chu had asked him to come. Qin Chu nodded. When the set of passwords comes out, you memorize the first half, and I'll memorize the second half. Then, we have to type out the password within 60 seconds. No problem. I'll take care of my part. You read the rest to me. You have to speak fast. Okay. Qin Chu nodded again. Thus, the two men with genius brains worked together for the first time. 3 minutes later, it's open. Xiao Fei was pleasantly surprised. Qin Chu was also a little excited. The two of them worked together and finally cracked the image that had been tampered with by an expert. Open it and see. Qin Chu could not wait to see how the monster did it. Chapter 43-21. Xiao Fei quickly opened the surveillance footage of the lake that lasted for 10 minutes. Seeing this, the two big men trembled with fear. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they might have thought that it was a supernatural scene filmed by a supernatural director. In the footage, Hua Min, no, at this moment, she should be that monster. She disappeared from the villa at an extremely fast speed like a ray of light. And there was no movement, so the bodyguards didn't notice. And she didn't fly out of the door at all. She flew out of the window upstairs. The figure outside couldn't be seen clearly. The reason why it was like a ball of light, then, they switched to the next scene. When she came back, there was blood at the corner of her mouth. She was holding something in her hand that was red. Zoom in, Qin Chu said. Xiao Fei moved the mouse and zoomed in. Then, the two men fell silent. It was a bright red heart. In fact, that thing was still beating in her palm. At that moment, the two men were so disgusted that they felt nauseous. It could be said that these two men had strong mental fortitude. If it were anyone else, they might have run to the bathroom to vomit. After the video stopped, the two men were silent for a long time. She never eats? Xiao Fei asked. I think so. Qin Chu had carefully observed this matter and found that this woman didn't like the food she usually ate. Whether it was rice, noodles, pastries, vegetables, or fruits, she wasn't interested in them. Even the seafood that Hua Min liked to eat in the past, she found it smelly and dirty. She didn't like to eat it. Originally, he was wondering what she liked to eat. Then, after the murders happened one after another, Qin Chu had some guesses. But it had always been just guesses and he couldn't verify them. But today, after working together with Xiao Fei to crack the password of this video, only then did they clearly see the terrifying side of this monster. It also confirmed that Qin Chu's guess was right. This woman knew that Qin Chu had installed many cameras to monitor her every move 24 hours. So when she committed the crime, she deliberately used hacking methods to tamper with the video so that ordinary hackers and even experts like Qin Chu couldn't crack it. So, the truth was really so cruel. Brother-in-law, what exactly is this thing? This was the first time Xiao Fei had seen such a thing. To be honest, he was a little shocked. To be honest, I don't know either. But I'm sure of one thing, she's not human. Qin Chu had long known that this woman's behavior was strange. He had also seen it in the image just now. Her speed was as fast as a beam of light. In 10 minutes, he could go to a place more than 10 miles away to kill someone, take their heart, and then return as if nothing had happened. These were all things that exceeded the limits of human beings. Could it be a ghost? Xiao Fei's imagination was running wild. Of course not. She's living in the real world in broad daylight. Plus, she has the same face, voice, expression, and memory as Mian. If I didn't know Mian well, I would have been fooled. Everyone believes her. Even Su Yu and Lingling didn't recognize her. So, Sister Mian went missing a long time ago, just like Yen. She went missing in Yunnan. Yes. Then who is she? Xiao Fei was puzzled. She should be the woman with the golden mask that Su Yu mentioned. Qin Chu was almost certain of her identity. So, this Sister Mian is actually from the Doomsday Death God? Xiao Fei widened his eyes and began to understand the whole story. Chapter 43-22. Something like that. Qin Chu agreed with Xiao Fei's guess. Or rather, he had thought so for a long time. That's a bit ridiculous. Xiao Fei felt the information was too much and needed time to digest it. Suddenly, Xiao Fei thought of something important. He looked up and said to Qin Chu, "By the way, the professor was on the island." "Which island?" Qin Chu asked immediately when he heard the word professor. "Lu Yan's island." "I'm on the same island." "You saw the professor?" "Yeah. I haven't been able to contact him." Qin Chu told him the painful truth. If he had contacted the professor earlier, the situation wouldn't have been so complicated. "Uncle Lu said he wouldn't contact you because you seemed to be being followed. Maybe he was afraid his whereabouts would be exposed. Where is he?" "Where is he now?" "He left," Xiao Fei said. "Where did he go?" Qin Chu had a feeling the professor knew a lot of secrets and the disappearance of Yen and Mian at the same time might have something to do with the professor. "I don't know where he went. He didn't tell me. You know his whereabouts are always mysterious. But he left an important clue." "What is it?" Qin Chu suddenly felt it was the wisest decision to let Xiao Fei come here. "Uncle Lu said the person behind the disappearance seems to be Yen and Mian's mother." Hearing the words, Qin Chu was shocked. It took him a few seconds to react. How is it possible? Dr. Linya died a long time ago, and her body is still in Iceland. Qin Chu thought he was well informed. "I thought so too. Uncle Lu didn't tell me the details, but I don't think he lied. After he left, I sent people to investigate. Dr. Linya's body was long gone in Iceland. Maybe Uncle Lu was right. For some reason, Dr. Linya has woken up. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken Yen and Mian at the same time. Sister Mian doesn't know martial arts, so she's easy to catch. But Yen is so powerful that few people in the world can defeat her in a one-on-one fight. If it's Dr. Linya, I won't worry about their safety. After all, she's their biological mother." Xiao Fei's words made Qin Chu fall into deep thought. It had to be said that although Xiao Fei looked young, every word he said was indeed thorough and meticulous. Qin Chu could think of all these logics. "Did the professor tell you this himself?" Qin Chu was still not sure. Uncle Lu didn't say so much. He only said he suspected Dr. Linya did it. He didn't say it out loud. "I have a feeling that there are secrets between Uncle Lu and Dr. Linya. Of course, they're top secrets and Uncle Lu wouldn't say it out loud." "So the professor has gone to find Dr. Linya?" Qin Chu said. "I think so. But we don't know where to start. The professor is too powerful. Almost no one can track him, unless he contacts us. It seems the professor has gone to find the truth. Fei, I have a favor to ask of you." "Brother-in-law, what is it?" "You'd better find a way to mobilize your men and Lu Yan's men to investigate the Doomsday Death God at any cost." "No problem. Leave it to me." "Okay. I'm going to talk to that monster." Qin Chu stood up. Chapter 43-23. "Brother-in-law, be careful," Xiao Fei reminded him. "It's fine. If she wanted to kill me, she would have done it a long time ago." Qin Chu's lips curled up slightly. Then, he and Xiao Fei split up at GK headquarters. Qin Chu was right. The fake Huamin he saw in the video was a psychopath. Even if Qin Chu, Xiao Fei, Rick, and Suyu worked together, they still wouldn't be a match for her. They weren't of the same species, so they couldn't be compared at all. So, during this period of time, this monster lived in South Hill Manor as Huamin. Although her attitude was a bit strange, she didn't cause much trouble. Otherwise, with this monster's methods, South Hill Manor would have been bathed in blood in less than half an hour. Thinking back, Qin Chu felt that his decision to send his parents and the twins away was the best decision he could have made. Jixin and his mother-in-law didn't seem to be within the monster's attack range. It seemed that she didn't care. On the way to the villa in the suburbs, Qin Chu thought about the ins and outs of this incident. The professor, the resurrected Linya, the Doomsday Reaper, the Yunnan kidnapping, the golden-masked woman, the missing Lu Yan, and the replaced Huamin. After the big explosion, Qin Chu later found that there was no woman among the pieces of the body. In other words, the ultimate boss that Hua Xiqian wanted to kill the most wasn't dead. So, that woman was the one beside him now? Thinking about how she snuck into their lives, Qin Chu felt a chill run down his spine. Fortunately, he found out in time. Otherwise, if he was really fooled by her, he wouldn't be able to tell the real Mian from the fake. Then, when Mian came back, how was he going to face her? Fortunately, he passed the test. Qin Chu felt a little excited. He felt like he was getting closer to the truth. At this point, he wasn't so nervous and worried anymore. Because he was sure of two things. First of all, Huamian wasn't dead, and their child might still be alive. Secondly, if Linya was behind all this, then Mian and Yan's lives shouldn't be in danger. This way, Qin Chu could go all out against this monster. Of course, he couldn't fight it head-on because he still couldn't find any way to deal with this monster. A deserted villa, sir. When Qin Chu came in, several bodyguards greeted him. Is she inside? Yes. Have you ever been out? No, it's been inside the whole time. It seemed that the bodyguards did not notice that the woman had used such a short period of time to go out and commit the crime like a ray of light. If they watched the video where the password was unlocked, they would probably be dumbfounded as well. Qin Chu didn't say anything and walked in. Huamin, or rather, Layla, was wearing a long nightgown and combing her hair in front of the mirror. This action was extremely strange. It gave people a feeling of déjà vu from a horror movie. Seeing Qin Chu come in, she smiled at Qin Chu in the mirror. Her eyes were half smiling. You're here. Emicham, are you planning to lock me up for the rest of my life? No, I can't lock you up, Qin Chu said. Hee hee, honey, what do you mean by that? Look at how obedient I am. I'm not crying or making a fuss. I'll listen to you obediently and let you torture me. So, was the heart last night delicious? Qin Chu asked her calmly. Layla froze for a moment. Honey, what are you talking about? She pretended not to understand. Your hacking skills are very good. You can restore the surveillance footage to a high degree and deceive everyone. I have to admit that you're very capable. Qin Chu looked at her word by word. Oh, it seems like it's cracked. Layla put down the comb, turned around, and smiled charmingly. Chapter 43-24. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Layla got up, turned around, and stood up slowly. Her hair was the same length as Huamin's. However, the look in his eyes was completely different from Huamian's. Qin Chu had known Huamin for so many years, but he had never seen such a seductive gaze. So, you've already guessed who I am, right? Before Qin Chu could say anything, Layla smiled again. Actually, you saw through it a long time ago, didn't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't have treated me like this. Yes. Qin Chu admitted it openly. I'm curious. Even though I've been a little overboard recently, I didn't reveal any flaws in the beginning. So, when did you discover my identity? Layla twirled a strand of her hair with her left hand and looked at Chin Chu with a smile. Chin Chu leaned against the pillar in the living room with one hand in his pocket, as if he wasn't afraid of Layla at all. I found out at the Yunnan hospital. That's impossible. At that time, I thought I did it flawlessly. Besides, in such a short time, how could you? Hearing Chin Chu's words, Layla obviously didn't believe him. She was very confident in her disguise, so when Chin Chu said that he had seen through her at that time, she found it ridiculous. You can believe it or not. Believe it or not, Mian and I, we've known each other since high school. Later, we got married and had children. After being together for many years, our relationship has surpassed the most ordinary relationship between a man and a woman. We're like family to each other. Therefore, when facing a woman that I care about so much, I know everything about her, including her thoughts. As for you, no matter how much you try to imitate her, you're still slightly different from her. That feeling of unfamiliarity still exists. If there's one person in the world who can recognize Mian, it's probably only me, because I love her deeply enough, and because I'm too obsessed with her. After hearing Chin Chu's words, Layla was a little dazed. As a high-grade clone, she did not have any emotions. Messiah was right. Layla's feelings for Chin Chu came from the memories she shared with Huamin. However, it wasn't something he experienced personally, so it wasn't real. It was like a person dreaming of eating a delicious cake. Although it tasted wonderful, they wouldn't remember the taste of the cake when they woke up. Only those who had eaten the cake and tried it themselves would remember that feeling forever. Therefore, this was the most obvious difference between Layla and Huamin. Ha! So you're really infatuated with her. No wonder she trusts you so much. If I knew you'd be broken so early, I wouldn't have had to induce labor and kill the baby. How troublesome. Layla had always thought that she was a high-level species and was smarter than humans. But judging from this incident, Chin Chu wasn't any more stupid than she was. I've already tested that dead baby. It's not my child. Oh. Layla was slightly startled. She didn't expect Chin Chu to keep evidence of the dead baby. You're really meticulous. No wonder Huamin fell in love with you. You're so outstanding that even I'm tempted. I thought I could use her to have fun with you. But now it seems like there's no hope. So you targeted Suyu. You wanted to use Suyu to destroy my relationship with Suyu, destroy my relationship with Mian, and destroy her reputation? Chin Chu questioned coldly. Chapter 43-25. Layla raised her chin and looked at Chin Chu provocatively. What else can I do? What else do I have to play with? From her contemptuous tone, one could tell that she thought this was a fun game. She wanted to toy with Chin Chu and Suyu. Unfortunately, this man was far more powerful than she had imagined. So what do you want? You want to find out my purpose just like that? Layla licked her lips with a playful expression. Chin Chu naturally knew that she wouldn't say it so easily, so he didn't have much hope. It doesn't matter if you tell me or not. I came here today to say that you're wasting time here, but you can't complete the mission your master gave you. As for you, if you leave there and are replaced by Mian, I'm afraid you won't be able to go back. Even if you go back, there won't be a place for you, right? Chin Chu spoke tactfully and vaguely. He didn't say the main point directly, but Layla understood immediately. What do you know? Layla looked at Chin Chu warily and put away her contemptuous smile. I know far more than you think. Do you believe me? Chin Chu also played a guessing game with her. Layla naturally didn't dare to be careless, because Chin Chu's words had indeed touched her heart. Layla looked at Chin Chu with a gloomy expression. Dr. Linya hasn't treated you well all these years, right? Does it feel good to be used? Do you know how pitiful the end result is? Don't try to sow discord between me and Master. You're not worthy. At the mention of Linya, Layla no longer seemed so calm. Instead, she was angry. From her tone, it seemed that she respected and feared Linya very much. I think that since you're so smart, you should know the pros and cons. You're dealing with ordinary people like us here, but you don't dare to think that you've already lost your former status. It's undeniable that perhaps the moment you carried out the mission, you were already abandoned by Dr. Linya. That's impossible. The Lord will not give up on me. Qin Chu, do you believe that I can send you to hell in a matter of minutes? Layla's speed was so fast that he couldn't see her move clearly. It was almost within a second. Her hand gripped Qin Chu's neck tightly. And that kind of strength was even greater than that of an adult man. Of course, Qin Chu was not afraid. This was what he had expected. It doesn't matter if you kill me. We don't have much power to fight back against you. It's just that. If you wanted to kill me, you would have done it long ago. You didn't have to wait until now. I'm sure it's Dr. Linya's idea that you haven't done anything. Aren't you afraid of angering her if you kill me now? In fact, Qin Chu's words were just tentative guesses. After all, he knew very little. And all of this was only because he had heard from Xiao Fei that Linya might be the mastermind. Qin Chu had always had a high IQ and an active mind, so it wasn't difficult for him to deduce what would happen next. Of course, he was now relying on his own guesses to test Layla's reaction and continue to deduce what would happen next. All was fair in war. Layla gripped Qin Chu's neck tightly with her eyes wide open. She didn't let go, but she didn't use any strength either. The two of them were silent, facing each other. Chapter 43-26. Seeing that it was a rare opportunity, Qin Chu added another dose of salt. He said, Dr. Linya created you because she missed her daughter. That's why you're so similar to Mian. But no matter how outstanding you are, you're just a substitute. Now that Mian has returned to her biological mother's side, you have lost your value. You can kill me at any time, but I dare say that Dr. Linya can kill you at any time, right? Qin Chu's words made Layla's hair stand on end. Deep within her body, there seemed to be something trembling. Qin Chu was very satisfied with the flash of horror in her eyes. This was the effect he wanted. Qin Chu, who do you think you are? Don't be so self-righteous. This was the first time Qin Chu had seen such a fierce gaze from Layla. He must have really touched her bottom line. Qin Chu only smiled. If I'm wrong, you won't be so angry, so what if you're right? Your wife and unborn child aren't by your side right now. And you can't do anything to me. You know that I've killed a lot of people, but you can't stop me, right? You humans are all a bunch of cowards. All of you are low-level species. Layla's contemptuous attitude was displayed again. As a high-level clone, she was Linya's perfect test subject for more than 10 years. She was also an existence that surpassed humans. Layla had always thought that she was superior. However, it doesn't matter if she's not by my side. After all, Dr. Linya is Mian's biological mother. She won't do anything to her biological daughter. But you're different. If you can't complete your mission or do something wrong, I'm afraid you won't just be punished, right? Clang, Layla couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed Qin Chu's neck and threw him away. Qin Chu landed heavily on the floor. Fortunately, his physical fitness was not bad. Otherwise, this fall would definitely cause internal injuries to his internal organs. His words kept provoking Layla. However, he knew that this woman wouldn't dare to kill him. At least, without Linya's permission, she wouldn't dare to do anything. It was also because he saw through this that Qin Chu dared to negotiate with Layla so brazenly. You know that angering me won't do you any good. Layla looked coldly at Qin Chu, who was slowly getting up from the ground. You're wrong. I'm here today to talk to you about cooperation. I'm not here to anger you. Cooperation? Ha 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 ha. Are you crazy? Who do you think you are? You want to cooperate with me? I know that apart from being Dr. Linya's puppet, you also have your own forces. Doomsday Death God is yours, right? Chin Chu guessed again. Layla's eyes slightly. This man was really is. Doomsday Reaper was Layla's of the world. It was Layla who wanted to travel around the world. Of course, it was also to work for Linya. That was why she nurtured her own force. And she was the boss of Doomsday Reaper was. The man who had saved Zhao Qingya was just a small fry in the Doomsday Reaper's team. So what if it's mine? You have your Doomsday Reaper was, and I have my Brotherhood Alliance. If you're willing to help me, I can give you benefits. Oh. Your so-called benefits are. Layla smiled, thinking that this man was very brave. He knew that she was a monster, but he still came to negotiate. His courage was extraordinary. Chapter 43-27. To get you out of Dr. Lin Ya's control and set you free. Ha 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 ha, Layla's demonic laughter came from the screaming villa. It made one's hair stand on end. Chin Chu looked at her quietly. Are you kidding me? You mean, you want me to betray the master and the mother who created me? Layla used the word mother, which showed that she still had feelings for Linya. Let me correct you. She's Mion's mother, not yours. And you are not Mion. Chin Chu poured cold water on her. Isn't that the same? If Huamin dies, I'll be the only one. Do you think Dr. Linya will let her daughter die? Chin Chu sneered. Don't tell me you're so naive to think that the master asked Huamin to go back because she missed her daughter. You're so naive. Layla looked at Chin Chu with disdain. She felt that what they knew was only the tip of the iceberg. Chin Chu walked over unhurriedly and approached Layla step by step. At this sensitive moment, the closer he got to Layla, the more he realized that other than looking like Mion, she really did look like Mion. She didn't look like Mion at all, including the dangerous aura on her. It was a feeling that Huamin had never felt. There was only peace, tranquility, and warmth on Mion. Are you still not going to admit it? If you give up this opportunity, then, no one will help you in the future. Don't you know what kind of person Linya is? It's because she's willing to harm her own daughter, let alone a fake like you. Wake up. I don't need you to tell me what Linya's goal is, nor do I need you to tell me your ultimate goal. Even if you destroy Earth and control the world, it has nothing to do with me. Oh. Then what you want is. Layla narrowed her eyes and looked at the man in front of her. As expected of the man she liked. He was indeed outstanding and had a unique charm. Chin Chu took a deep breath, then, he answered her in a gentle tone. I just want my wife and children to come home. He thought of his wife whom he hadn't seen for a long time, and the baby whose safety he didn't know. Chin Chu felt like his heart was about to break. He only hoped that there would be some results from dealing with this woman. Otherwise, the road to finding a wife would be too long. He really didn't know how long his perseverance could last. Layla might not have thought that Chin Chu's wish was so simple. Therefore, he was also stunned for a moment. Then, her face was filled with jealousy. How is she worthy of you treating her like this? It's worth it everywhere. Huh, Huamin sure is lucky. She doesn't look that good, and her brain isn't that great either. But there are so many men who are willing to sacrifice themselves for her. Hua Xiqian detonated explosives for her and blew himself into pieces. Su Yu was willing to be her backup for the rest of his life. And then there's you, her perfect husband, who is always thinking about her. I'm so jealous that I could die. How is it? You can consider my proposal. You think too simply of Master. With just you and your so-called brotherly alliance, you won't be able to deal with her. Don't even think about it. Layla grew up by Linya's side and knew her abilities too well. What if we add the professor? Professor? You mean Lu? Layla was slightly taken aback. She had never seen the professor before, but Layla knew that he was a very powerful man. He was also the only man Linya had given birth to a child for all these years. Chapter 43-28. Istanbul, Turkey. Two blonde girls in almost transparent golden gauze dresses knelt on the ground with glasses of red wine in their hands. Ian seemed to be in a good mood. He had recently received a large order and earned more than 1 billion yuan from firearms alone. He had always known that he was a layman who loved money. Because he had money, he could have everything. Now, in addition to all kinds of illegal transactions, he also controlled the Middle East Bitcoin exchange market. Without Liu Yan finding trouble, his business was much better. However, he always felt that life seemed to lack passion. "Brother Ian, you made so much money this time. Aren't you going to treat me to a drink?" The religious fanatic Levis smiled slyly. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that he and Ian were in cahoots. "Of course, you can choose whatever you want from my wine cabinet, that's great." "Huh. It seems that you've been lucky recently. You're in a good mood." Levis continued to laugh arrogantly. The corners of Ian's mouth curled up slightly. His black Godfather outfit reached the ground. He picked up a glass of wine from the girl's hand and slowly walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. "I'm not like my brother Nalo. After Huasiqian died, he was sad as if he had lost a close friend." "Yes. Is Huasiqian really dead? That guy seems very cunning." Levis was puzzled. "It's confirmed. He's completely dead this time." "Doomsday Reaper did it?" Levis continued to ask. "It should be. My people didn't see the incident in Yunnan, China with their own eyes. They only heard about it and later investigated. However, it said that Qin Chu has already done a DNA comparison of the bodies there and confirmed that it's him. That guy died really tragically. There's no corpse left." Ian smiled from beginning to end. Indeed, he didn't have any pity for Huasiqian. However, his brother Nalo seemed to be very sad about Huasiqian's death. "Sir, a guest wants to see you." Ian's subordinate suddenly came to report. "Oh. A guest who can come here to visit me. What a rare guest." During Ian's time in Istanbul, not only did he sell firearms, but he also incited the local reactionaries to go against the government. Therefore, the situation in Turkey was in chaos, and tourists from all over the world were almost nowhere to be seen. They were all afraid that this place would become a war-torn country like Iraq and Syria. Ian put down his wine glass and was curious about the visitor. As his fair-weather friend, Reeves also acted as a bystander. The two of them walked towards the villa's main hall. Xiao Fei came alone. He didn't bring any of his men with him. In fact, when Xiao Fei arrived in Turkey, he first went to the capital, Ankara. Then, he left all his men in Ankara and came to see Ian alone. "Xiao Fei?" Ian couldn't believe his eyes. A while ago, Xiao Fei and Liu Yan had ruined his plans several times. He was being hunted down by his men. Now, this guy was actually standing alone in his territory in broad daylight. Even he was starting to wonder if this was a disguise. Was he carrying a suicide bomb? Therefore, Ian was immediately on guard. "Don't be afraid. It's me, not a disguise. There's no suicide bomb. Don't worry." Xiao Fei seemed to see through Ian's thoughts at a glance. He knew what he was thinking. "So, are you here to die? Are you tired of living?" Ian was still smiling. Reeves held a string of black beads in his hand, looking like he was watching a show. Chapter 43-29. "No, I haven't lived long enough." Xiao Fei's tone was calm. He didn't sound like he was about to go through a life-and-death battle in enemy territory. The weather in Turkey wasn't that cold. Therefore, Xiao Fei didn't have the chance to wear his navy blue Russian double-breasted military uniform. He only wore a pair of army green camouflage pants and a black short-sleeved t-shirt. This outfit was very similar to the equipment of the special forces in the country. However, the short silver hair on his head was too eye-catching. "Then why are you?" Ian continued to ask with a smile. "I'm here to negotiate." Negotiate? You and Lu Yen have been ruining my plans, causing me to suffer heavy losses and blowing up many of my territories. Now that you want to reconcile, you come back and negotiate with me. Do you think there's such a good deal in the world? Or do you think I'm easy to talk to? Let's not talk about your losses first. Let's talk about this project. Wait. Are you here on behalf of Lu Yen? Ian wasn't interested in Xiao Fei, but he had worked with Xiao Fei's second brother before. However, Xiao Nan suddenly disappeared in Southeast Asia and still hadn't been found. The entire Qiao family in Russia was in chaos. The eldest brother, Qiao Mo, had already gone into seclusion to have a child and refused to come out. Now, the Qiao family had been relying on Xiao Fei's father. Stop fooling around. The whole world knows that Yen is missing. Ian, don't waste my time, okay? Huh. It seems like the wild cat is really missing. I really thought it was a trap. I didn't believe it. She is indeed missing, Xiao Fei stated calmly. So your purpose of cooperating with me this time is to help you find Lu Yen? Ian knew the relationship between Xiao Fei and Lu Yen, so he thought that this man had no choice but to come to him for help. No, that's not it. That's interesting. Young Master Qiao. Are you here to joke with me? I don't have a good temper. If you piss me off, you might not be able to leave today. Ian felt that this kid was provoking him by coming alone. He was looking down on his authority, so he was naturally unhappy. Not to mention that Levis was watching from the side. So, he wanted to quietly show off. Unexpectedly, Xiao Fei didn't say anything and only smiled. Then, he reached into his pocket. Ian's men were so frightened that they immediately took out their guns and aimed at Xiao Fei. They all thought that he was carrying some dangerous weapon. Unexpectedly, what he took out in the end was a lollipop. And it was written in Chinese, "Made in China." Xiao Fei slowly tore open the packaging of the lollipop and put it in his mouth. Just like a child. His attitude was relaxed, and he didn't seem to be afraid at all. Ian and Reeves naturally knew that they had been nervous for nothing. Ian, since I've come to find you, I'm naturally prepared. Whether you believe me or not. If I can't get out of here safely, all of you will die here with me. So, don't doubt my words. Are you threatening me? Ian smiled. No, I'm warning you. You can try if you don't believe me. It seems like you've learned a lot from the wild cat. Ian thought Xiao Fei's personality was similar to Lu Yan's. They were both arrogant and domineering. Cut the crap, I'm not here to catch up with you. Ian, I want to know, what exactly do you want from Professor Lu? Ian's smile deepened when he heard that. But why should I tell you? Chapter 43:30. I can provide you with what you want, Xiao Fei said. What about me? What can I provide you? Do I just need to tell you what we've always wanted? Only now did Ian realize that Xiao Fei was indeed here to negotiate, and he had come prepared. You also need to mobilize people to help me find Doomsday Reaper. Or rather, help me find Lu Yen. After Xiao Fei said this, Ian laughed. Your wife is missing. Why should we look for her? Who do you think you are? I told you, I have something you want. For example. Ian didn't know what Xiao Fei's bargaining chip was. Would it interest him? For example. HPZ2. When Xiao Fei finished speaking, not to mention Ian, even Levis turned pale with fright. Not many people in the world knew about this mysterious thing. But Xiao Fei knew. What did you say? Ian thought he had heard wrong and questioned Xiao Fei again. Don't doubt me. Since I know about this thing, I definitely have it. I want to see a sample. Ian wasn't easy to fool. Xiao Fei carefully took out a transparent bottle from his pocket. Inside was a pink liquid. What you're holding is really. Levis obviously didn't believe him. I've never liked to lie. In short, if you agree, I can give this to you. I want to test its authenticity. Ian was almost a little angry. He had been coveting HPZ2 for a long time, but he hadn't been able to get his hands on it. He didn't expect Xiao Fei to have it. What a surprise. Especially now that he had taken the initiative to deliver it to him. Stop fooling around. This thing. I won't let you get someone to test it. Do you think I'm stupid? You have so many professional researchers under you. Do you think I'll give you the sample for testing? But if that's the case, how do I know if the thing in your hand is real or if you're lying to me? It's simple. You can find someone you trust and I'll give it to him. Ian didn't say anything after hearing what she said. Then, he turned to look at Levis. You have the most experience, and you've used this thing before. Go ahead and try it. Bro, don't mess around. What if it's something that takes someone's life? Wouldn't I be out of luck? Reeves chuckled. Don't worry. If I wanted your life, I wouldn't be able to leave safely. My life is much more valuable than yours. Xiao Fei looked at Reeves with contempt. That's right. You're the only one I trust, and you know how to do it. Go and try. Ian didn't want to miss this opportunity, so he kept persuading Reeves, the expert, to give it a try. In the end, Reeves agreed and slowly walked towards Xiao Fei. Xiao Fei poured some of the liquid from the transparent glass bottle onto his palm. Reeves glanced at him, then lowered his head and licked the thing. A familiar smell instantly entered his brain. He knew that this taste was exactly the same as the one he had tasted before. He didn't need to look at the effects after that to know that this little girl wasn't lying. Reeves turned to look at Ian. It's true, that's right. Hearing that it was true, Ian was even more ecstatic. Kid, all right, I agree to your request. Yes, too. First, tell me what you're looking for. Second, help me find Lu Yen. No problem. In fact, I miss Lu Yen, that little wild cat, too. Huh. Ian couldn't help but blurt out his thoughts. Chapter 43-31. But when he looked at Xiao Fei's murderous eyes, Ian immediately shut his mouth. Ian quickly shut his mouth. He knew that the Xiao family's kid had always had a bad temper. So, he didn't dare to joke about Lu Yen. 5 minutes later, in the secret room of Ian's mansion, the two walked in, and Ian poured a glass of wine with great interest. But Xiao Fei didn't drink. I don't have much time. Hurry up and tell me. I don't have the patience to deal with you. You might not believe me if I tell you, but I want to catch Professor Lu. The thing I'm looking for. I don't even know what it's called. Are you kidding me? Xiao Fei made a fuss. No. I'm not lying to you. I swear on my head, but I know that thing in Professor Lu's hands is very powerful. Once you get it, you can control the world. That powerful? Xiao Fei was skeptical. How come he didn't know that Uncle Lu had such a powerful thing? Also, he had never heard Lu Yen mention it. He only knew that many forces had been after Professor Lu all these years. Xiao Fei had always thought that Professor Lu had some kind of medicine formula, such as a cure for cancer and AIDS. But now that he heard Ian say that if he got the thing in Uncle Lu's hands, he could control the world, this, obviously wasn't some kind of medicine formula. It seemed that he was still too naive. Then, Ian said, since you're offering such a sincere thing in exchange, I'll tell you more. The thing in Professor Lu's hands is a biochemical weapon. Do you know what a biochemical weapon is? It's something that governments all over the world want. Russia once sent a lot of spies to try to get close to him, but they were all killed by the FBI. Of course, the US government wants it too, but they're smarter. They've been keeping track of the professor's whereabouts in the name of protection. So, I'm not sure if the thing is in the hands of the US government or the professor. Other forces have been trying to catch him. I'm just joining in the fun. Actually, if I told you that I've been chasing Lu Yen all these years because I really love her, would you believe me? Ian's words were always both righteous and evil. If you say something like that to me again, I'll beat you up until your mom can't recognize you. Xiao Fei glared at Ian coldly. Ha ha ha. Bro, relax. Don't be so serious. Xiao Fei remained silent. Okay, I've told you everything you want to know. Now, tell me, how can I help you find Lu Yan? Find out about Doomsday Reaper at all costs. They must have something to do with Yan's disappearance. As far as I know, Doomsday Reaper's men are in Paris, France. You better investigate carefully, no problem. As long as you can provide me with HPZ2, anything is negotiable. That's all then. Let me know if you have any news. Then, Xiao Fei turned around and walked out. Hey, bro, aren't you going to have some steak before you leave? Ian teased. If it's your arrangement, I'm willing to give it a try. Ian, an underwater palace on the other side of the earth. Even though Professor Lu knew that Linya had ulterior motives, he still treated her gently. She didn't hate her mother as much as Huamin did. Linya took the professor's hand and went to one of her secret experimental bases. When he saw the white cave filled with gigantic silkworm-like things, his scalp went numb. Old Lu, guess what this is? Linya smiled slightly. Chapter 43-32. They're all clones you made, right? Old Lu, you're indeed the man who knows me the best. Linya's words were filled with pride, thinking that this was something worth bragging about. Professor Lu's eyes were indeed extremely complicated. Although cloning technology had been banned, many countries were still researching it. This was not a secret. However, there was only one person in the world like Linya, who did research in her own hands and produced it on such a large scale. From this, it could be seen how crazy Linya was. Where did you get so many? Professor Lu looked at the human cocoons wrapped in silk and felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. Linya only smiled faintly. My people are naturally 1 in a million. These are all selected from the gene banks of various countries around the world through hacking technology. Then, I sent people to steal them. Although the process is a little complicated, it's good that it's all as I wish. How long have you been doing this? About 7 or 8 years. It's been so long. When do you plan to wake these clones up? Professor Lu asked Linya. After hearing this, Linya began to act coquettishly with Professor Lu. She hugged Professor Lu's waist like an old couple. How many years had it been since he had seen Linya act coquettishly like a little girl? To be honest, the professor was really moved. Back when Linya's accident happened, he had been sad for many days and nights. If it weren't for the fact that he wanted to study the technology to revive Linya, he would have really wanted to die and accompany Linya in the afterlife. Old Lu. You really hit the nail on the head. This is why I really want to ask you for the red demon. I've studied it for so many years, but I've never been able to solve a problem. What? Linya bit her lips and said in a low voice, these clones are perfect on the surface, even more perfect than the original body because they have some special abilities that are not human. Some are extremely strong, and some have excellent memories. However, all of them, or rather, all the clones have a flaw. The professor did not say anything and only listened quietly to Linya's explanation. Linya glanced at the professor and paused for a moment before continuing, they can't eat normally. Then what do they rely on to survive? The professor hit the nail on the head. There was another 5 seconds of silence. Linya Kai said slowly, they eat humans. This sentence really surprised the professor. Eating people was such a simple word, but it came out of Linya's mouth so easily. The professor reacted quickly and immediately asked Linya, so, the Layla you released, that's right. She's been eating humans for a living. That's the only bottleneck I haven't been able to break through all these years. You can say that my experiment failed or that my skills aren't that high. I didn't want it to be like this either. But since they've already formed, they're like my children. I can't bear to destroy them myself. Layla has all the flaws of clones. She's extremely ferocious, especially when she's looking for food. She's very bloody and violent. She eats hearts and drinks blood to survive. Linya, do you know what you're saying? This was the first time the professor called Linya by her full name after reuniting with her. Linya felt a little unfamiliar with the professor. Chapter 43-33. Old Lu. I know you won't agree with what I'm doing, but I created these children because I want to live forever. I want to see if I can transfer genes. I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. Linya pretended to be pitiful to clear her name. Unfortunately, the professor didn't buy it. Linya, don't call these children monsters. In nature, except for the mindless beasts, no species eats humans for a living. Even wolves won't attack humans easily. What you're doing is not only against morality but also against the laws of nature. You're selfishly tampering with the food chain. Linya, do you know the consequences of your actions? Old Lu, I'm a woman. There's nothing wrong with me. I told you. You know I've always been vain. I'm afraid I'll grow old. That's right, isn't it? But birth, aging, illness, and death are the laws of nature. What right do you have to destroy them? But I just don't want to grow old or die. Is that wrong? Linya's voice also became a little excited. Of course it's not wrong. What's wrong is that you're trampling on other people's lives for your own benefit. Tell me, how many clones have you released? Linya was silent. You don't dare to tell me? No. Only 2 at the moment. One is Jingda 002, and the other is Layla. Aren't you a servant here? They're not. They're all humans. According to Linya, Layla was the only scourge she had released. Jingda had been killed by Qin Shu and was no longer alive, so he couldn't be killed. But would the professor believe her words? Old Lu. I really didn't plan to release these children. Linya pointed at the thousands of human pupae hanging there, as if she was trying to calm Professor Lu down. Seeing that Professor Lu didn't speak, Linya reached out and gently shook his arm. Old Lu. I know you love me the most, but I can't allow you to do anything evil, the professor replied decisively. I know. I won't do it either. I just want a recipe for immortality. Back then, we developed Red Demon together, but I quit for some reason. All these years, I know that you've already succeeded in your research. In fact, a biochemical weapon like Red Demon will definitely harm the world. I know that you have your reasons for not taking it out. I don't want Red Demon to control anyone or any faction. I actually just want a material that can't be regenerated from Red Demon. You're talking about a crystal ore? Professor Lu. That's it. All these years, I've had my people search the entire world, but I haven't found a second crystal ore of the same kind. So, it's the same as your analysis back then. This stone is a product left behind by an alien and can't be regenerated. After all, it's not something from Earth. You know that kind of ore. Because it has a special power, it can improve the bloodthirsty gene in my clones. I only hope that they won't eat humans for a living. At least Layla is innocent. Back then, because I missed my daughter, Mian, I selfishly created her. She looks exactly like our daughter, Mian. Do you have the heart to let her continue to be a monster? With tears in her eyes, Linya began her best actress performance. Chapter 43-34. You created Layla because you missed your daughter. I can understand that. What about Jingda? What was his original intention when he was released? The professor looked at Linya's face calmly. It was as if he wanted to see through this woman in an instant. Linya didn't seem to expect that the honest Professor Lu in her eyes had become so difficult to deal with as time passed. Back then, when they were together, her old Lu had always obeyed her every word. He wanted nothing more than to be her manservant, to be ordered around by her. Now, the honest man was no longer honest. He reacted quickly. This made Linya somewhat displeased. I cloned Jingda for the good of our daughter, Mian. Think about it. It wasn't easy for that young girl to raise Mian. After she lost her husband, she never remarried. She's really pitiful, so I thought of using my own method to resurrect Jingda and reunite their family. Your intention is really good. Professor Lu smiled and continued to ask Linya, you knew that Jingda was a failed experiment and would eat humans to survive, but you still put such a dangerous person by our daughter's side. What were you thinking at that time? I didn't think about this at that time. Really, old Lu. Believe me, no matter what, I won't hurt our daughter. Do you know that if it weren't for me, Mian's child would have been lost? Linya took the opportunity to take credit from the professor. But at this moment, the professor was indeed saying that if it weren't for her, Mian and her child wouldn't be in danger at all. They might have been born long ago. However, Professor Lu didn't say this to Linya. Yeah, where's Yen? I want to see her. At the mention of Lu Yan's eyes flashed. I sent Yen out to do something for me. She's not back yet. Oh, I see. Can I see Mian? Okay, I'll ask Messiah to send you over now. Linya didn't stop Professor Lu from seeing his daughter. Strangely, she didn't follow him. Instead, she asked Messiah to send Professor Lu to Huamin's room. Linya, on the other hand, seemed to have something else to do. In C City. Hubby, is little Ajin asleep? Cece was wearing beige pajamas, sitting on the sofa with a mask on her face and watching TV. Rick carefully held his daughter in his arms. He didn't dare to make any noise as if he was afraid of scaring her. Even his footsteps were as light as possible. Sure enough, once a mafia boss turned into a slave to his daughter, he was much more adorable than anyone else. In the past, Rick only thought that the twins were cute, but he couldn't feel Chin Chu's love for his daughters. Now that he had become a father, he finally understood this wonderful feeling. It was truly an indescribable wonder if one did not experience it personally. Yes, she's sleeping very soundly. Let's not wake her up. That won't happen. Our daughter is a little pig. She sleeps very soundly. Cece took the baby and carefully placed him in the crib. Cece. I'm going out tomorrow. Are we going back to America again? Cece was a little disappointed. After she got together with Rick, Cece was always worried about her personal gains and losses. After all, Rick's identity was special, so it was impossible for him not to be busy. Cece had fantasized countless times that one day, Rick wouldn't be in this line of work anymore. He would live a simple life with her. The two of them would open a coffee shop on a street corner in this city. Then, they would live a carefree life like gods. Unfortunately, no, I'm going to do Chin Chu a favor. Chapter 43-35. What's wrong? Did President Chin encounter any difficulties? Cece was surprised. She didn't know anything about Chin Chu and Huamin. Plus, after giving birth, she was afraid of agitating Huamin, so she didn't dare to send Huamin WeChat messages anymore. Yeah, it's just a small matter. Don't worry, it won't be dangerous. Then come back soon. Cece wrapped her arms around Rick's broad waist like a child. Okay. Ever since Rick gave birth to Cece, he had doted on her even more. It was almost to the point of treating her like his precious baby. Perhaps it was because he had seen how difficult it was for a woman to give birth. Therefore, Rick had already decided to treat Cece even better. After Rick left, Cece felt bored, so she called her sister and came to her house to accompany her. After Nia Lingxian came back, she was very busy. When she came to Cece's house, she had just finished recording a show at a TV station. You only think of me after your man left. You're a classic example of valuing your man over your sister. Nia Lingxian laughed at her. Io, it's not the first time I've valued my man over my sister. Are you going to use this to slander me for the rest of my life? Cece laughed. I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I want to see my niece. Little Jean is already asleep. So early? It's not early. Look, it's almost 11 o'clock. It's so late. I'm so confused. Nia Lingxian slapped her forehead. Sis, I really don't understand. Even if you don't like living abroad anymore, you don't have to come back. Your income from those years is enough for our family to spend for the rest of our lives. Dad and Mom just want you to be happier and more relaxed. Why did you come back to the entertainment industry? Cece actually didn't agree with her sister coming back. She always felt that it was better to live an ordinary life. Nia Lingxian took off her coat and picked up a sugar orange from the table. As she peeled it, she said, "You don't understand. I really like acting. I'm not doing it for money or fame." Really? Why do I feel like it has something to do with Suyu? It's really not. Then you think you've given up on Suyu? Yes. You're lying. If you really gave up, why didn't you find a boyfriend? Cece obviously didn't believe her sister. I say, my good sister, it's not that easy to find a man these days. Do you think it's like buying cabbages? I'm already so old, I have to find a good boyfriend. That's true. I'll ask my Rick to introduce you to one tomorrow. Don't. I can't afford it. Those people around brother-in-law are not suitable for me. I'll find one myself. Sis, have you heard about Suyu and Han Yueao? Are you talking about the new girl in our company? Yeah, she's really popular these days. She's been doing a lot of commercials. I saw on Weibo that she just accepted the role of a luxury brand spokesperson in the Greater China region. She's amazing, she has a good temperament, good looks, and is popular now. It's normal for her to take on this kind of advertisement. But Big Sister is also very good. Why doesn't Suyu like you but her? After reading the gossip, Cece thought Han Yueao was Suyu's new lover. Like all the other onlookers, Nia Lingxian stuffed a small piece of orange into her mouth and replied calmly, maybe he has feelings for that girl. Sis, you've really gotten over it. Yeah, I've gotten over it. That's great. I really don't have to worry about you anymore. Cece moved over and sat down beside her sister. At this moment, Han Yueao was working late at the company after shooting some commercials. After finishing her work, she walked out of the company in a daze with her bag and was stopped by someone. Miss Han, right? Our boss wants to treat you to tea, a man in a black suit said expressionlessly. Chapter 43-36. Who's your boss? I don't know him. Han Yueao didn't know many people in this city and didn't go to bars or nightclubs, so she didn't know any bosses. But, before she could say anything, the man picked her up and stuffed her into the black Mercedes-Benz. Help! Before she could say the word help, Han Yueao fell silent. Because the man in the car had a dagger pressed against her ribs. The pain of the dagger piercing her ribs was especially obvious. There were underground forces in every city. Although the gangs weren't as rampant as before, they still existed. However, they really did exist. It was just that they were running a certain company on the outside and were using it as a cover. The underworld bosses had also become the bosses of some shell companies. From there, they laundered money and did things like robbers and prostitutes. Han Yueao was smart and didn't want to suffer physical pain. So, she could only calm down for the time being and wait and see. In a mansion in the western New City, the decoration was luxurious and it was all European-style furniture. However, there were too many gorgeous things, which had the opposite effect. The main color was rich gold, so it was obvious that the owner didn't have good taste. Boss, she's here. Good, good, good. In the living room, a short and fat middle-aged man stood up with a smile. His hair was a little thin but not bald. He was wearing a flowery shirt with a big Thai Buddha plaque on his chest and a pair of red casual shoes. His style was a little exaggerated, but it was said that many rich people like to dress like this. Miss Han, my subordinate, was a little rude. Were you scared when he asked you to come? The man smiled at Han Yueyao. Do we know each other? Han Yueyao was sure that she didn't know this person. She had never seen him, interacted with him, or offended him. I know you, but you don't know me, the man said with a smile. Then, have I offended you before? Han Yueyao asked carefully. After all, she had heard that these gangsters were very vengeful. She wondered if she had accidentally offended him before. No. Then you kidnapped me, to extort ransom? To be honest, I really don't have much money now. You can check it out. I'm a small celebrity who just became famous. I'm not even a B-list celebrity. At most, I'm a C-list celebrity. Most of my money is in the company, so I really don't have much money. Han Yueyao began to complain about being poor. Ha ha ha. Miss Han is too humorous. The man laughed out loud when he heard this. Han Yueyao felt disgusted when she saw his big golden teeth. After laughing, the man pointed to the table on the other side and said, "Don't be afraid. I just want to treat Miss Han to supper today." "Thank you, but I'm not that hungry, and I need to maintain my figure." Han Yueyao wasn't stupid and wouldn't casually eat other people's food. What if the food was tampered with? It's okay. I won't drug it. Don't worry. Seeing her hesitation, the man walked to the table first. Seeing that she didn't move, the man's subordinate threatened her with a cold face. "Miss Han, you have to rely on your face to make a living. You'd better not offend our boss. Otherwise, we can't guarantee what we'll do to you." Hearing his words, Han Yueyao immediately followed him to the dining room. As the saying went, a wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. Han Yueyao knew it wasn't an ordinary supper. This was a fucking banquet. At this moment, she suddenly had a strange thought. She really hoped that Suyu could come and save her. Chapter 43-37. Of course, this thought only flashed through her mind. Han Yueyao couldn't count on Suyu to save her. After all, she didn't have a deep relationship with Suyu. At best, their relationship was that of a boss and a subordinate. "Come, have a bite with me." The gangster looked at Han Yueyao secretly. Han Yueyao glanced at the dishes on the table and was stunned. It was the middle of the night. Why was he eating such greasy food? Sweet and sour pork ribs, soy sauce pork trotters, pork elbow, boiled fish. But looking at these dishes, one could tell how many calories they were. Han Yueyao's subtext was, "Damn it, I told you you're fat, but you're eating such greasy food in the middle of the night. It would be strange if you lost weight, what? You don't like it? Old man, bring the bird's nest soup for Miss Han." "Yes." No. I'm really not hungry." "You can eat." Han Yueyao waved her hands. The man's face was oily as he looked at Han Yueyao lecherously. "Miss Han, I'm your hardcore fan. I follow you on Weibo. I was your fan when you first appeared in Dancing Allure. Later, I watched all the commercials you took on and bought all the products you endorsed. I heard you even took on a movie. Don't worry, it's worth it even if I buy the entire theater to increase the box office for you." "Thank you. You're much older than me, so I'll call you uncle." Han Yueyao's words almost choked the rich man. All the beauties, models, and celebrities he had met before had called him brother. This damned girl called him uncle the moment she came up. It was a little frustrating. Actually, you can call me Big Brother Wang. I'm not that old, I'm only a few years older than you." The rich man was a little embarrassed and corrected Han Yueyao. "How can I? My mom told me when I was young to respect the old and love the young. You're an elder, so I can't be so rude. How about I call you Grandpa Wang?" "Ahem. Just call me uncle." The man didn't know what to do with Han Yueyao. It was his first time seeing a female celebrity speak so bluntly, and he was a little uncomfortable. Han Yueao secretly took out her phone while talking to him. But as soon as he took it out, it was discovered. Miss Han's phone seems to be out of battery. Go charge it. Yes, boss. Her subordinate rudely snatched her cell phone from her hand, and her heart turned cold. It seemed like he didn't even have the chance to ask for help. Miss Han, to be honest, when I first saw you on TV, I was mesmerized by you. You're just a small star at Imperial Star, right? It'll take some time for you to become a big star. Why don't you be with me? I won't hold you back from acting. I can buy you a mansion, a sports car. I'll give you a few million yuan every month. What do you think? Uncle, I don't understand. Han Yueao played dumb. Our boss has taken a liking to you and wants to keep you, the man named who behind him fiercely interrupted. When she heard the word sugar daddy, she almost threw up. Uncle, I don't think it's appropriate. We're in different generations. Han Yueao pretended to be calm and smiled. The man lowered his head and said as he poured tea into his cup, "You're a smart girl, so I won't beat around the bush with you. My king has been in Sea City for many years, and everyone knows me. Even the director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau has to give me some face. There were some small celebrities who didn't know how to behave and didn't listen to me. Later, after my men took turns with them and took photos of them, they became obedient. To be honest, Miss Han, I really like you and don't want to treat you that way." Han Yueao's first reaction was, "Fuck, you old fart," threatening me. Chapter 43-38. Uncle, so you're threatening me? Han Yueao was so angry that she laughed. I don't want to do that either. I hope you can cooperate. The rich man smiled smugly. You're forcing me to do something I don't want to do. If that's what you think, fine. Since the rich man dared to kidnap Han Yueao and threaten her, he must have confidence in himself. Han Yueao was furious at such a despicable method. But she knew she couldn't flare up. After all, this was his territory. So, she could only negotiate tactfully. Since you're my hardcore fan, do you know which company I'm from? Han Yueao asked with a smile. Of course. You're from Imperial Star Entertainment. Good. Do you know who the boss of Imperial Star Entertainment is? Of course. You're the little devil of the Su family. The old man seemed to know Su Yu quite well and knew that Su Yu was the little devil of the Su family. Han Yueao almost laughed at the way he called him. She wondered what Su Yu would think if he heard such a comment. Since you know, aren't you afraid that Su Yu will come after you for doing this? Do you know my relationship with Su Yu? Han Yueao wanted to use Su Yu's reputation to make this old man back off. Unexpectedly, the old man picked up a toothpick and slowly picked his teeth. Then, he said secretly, Miss Han, don't play word games with me. I dared to invite you here because I found out the truth. The rumors about you and Su Yu are untrue. You're still staying in Imperial Star's single dorm every night. It's obvious that you're not Su Yu's woman. Su Yu was obsessed with the female director at Southside. Then, he seemed to have an affair with his female artist, Miss Nya. So, if you want to use Su Yu's reputation to scare me, you'd better save it. Han Yueao cursed inwardly. She didn't expect this old man to know so much about this. He wasn't easy to fool. Han Yueao was anxious, but on the surface, she was still talking and laughing. Of course, Su Yu and I aren't in that kind of relationship, but you have to know that I'm currently an artist promoted by Imperial Star. Su Yu is my boss, so of course he'll stand up for me. If I'm wronged outside, President Su won't let it go so easily. Do you think it's appropriate for you to do this? When the old man heard this, he only laughed. Don't worry. Although I've never met Su Yu before, some of my buddies know the little devil of the Su family and can talk to him. She's just an actress. I'll give Su Yu tens of millions of yuan and invest in a movie or something. That'll settle everything. Don't let me down. All these years, none of the women I've played with are worth my effort. You better be a virgin. The old man's words were getting more and more explicit. Han Yueyao really wanted to pick up the porcelain plate on the table and smash it on the old man's head. How about this, uncle? Give me some time. I'll go back and think about it. I'll give you an answer later, okay? Seeing that Su Yu's name didn't work, Han Yueyao tried to stall for time. Girl. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid? Do you think I'll believe your lies? Of course I'll let you go, but, tonight, you must sleep here. I'll have someone send you back in the morning. When we're done, we can talk about the rest. The old man's simple words chilled Han Yueyao's heart. Chapter 43-39. You're obviously going to use force, aren't you? Han Yueyao smiled mockingly. Of course I don't want to hurt you. So you'd better listen to me and cooperate, hee. You're so old, I don't know if you can still do it. Be careful not to die. Seeing how shameless he was, Han Yueyao didn't want to deal with him anymore. She planned to protect her innocence even if she had to risk her life. She couldn't sleep with this old man just because she was afraid. Just thinking about it made her feel disgusted. Don't worry. I can deal with you alone. Although I'm a little old, I take good care of myself. My body is still very healthy. The old man smiled wickedly, making Han Yueyao's scalp tingle. Take her to the room and wait for me. Yes. Don't touch me. Han Yueyao stood up and picked up the fork and knife on the table. It's useless. Do you know what a long-range anesthetic is? With that, the old man took out a tranquilizer gun from somewhere. He aimed it at Han Yueyao. At that moment, Han Yueyao felt a trace of despair. She never thought that she would encounter such a thing one day. At this moment, the door of the mansion was suddenly pushed open. Let her go. Han Yueyao's heart skipped a beat, thinking that it was Su Yu. But when she saw who it was, she froze. Lin Heng was here, and he brought a group of brothers with him. There were about a dozen people behind him. They all had sticks in their hands. Hey, isn't this my old friend, Heng? Long time no see. Yao, come here. Lin Heng didn't look very good. Perhaps because he had been hospitalized for too long, he was very thin and haggard. Han Yueyao reacted quickly and immediately ran to Lin Heng's side. Wang Kuan. This is my woman. I'm taking her away today. Your woman? Heng. That's not very nice of you. When did you get involved with this woman? I've always kept a low profile. I don't need you to tell me when I'm in a relationship. But if you don't believe me, you can check. My woman paid for my hospitalization. Hee, so what? You look like you're about to die. How can you support your woman? Why don't you leave her to me? I'll take good care of her. The old man was not ashamed at all. He seemed to look down on Lin Heng and the others. Wang Kuan, are you fucking shameless? You're older than her father, yet you still want to hit on her. Be careful that you don't catch your breath and die in bed, Lin Heng's subordinate said. Everyone looked down on Wang Kuan, the old lecher. He was famous in the city for his love of playing with women and his methods had always been despicable. Little Heng, I'm your elder after all. I was of the same generation as your father back then. Whether you call me uncle or not, I won't pick on you. I know what kind of mess you're in now. Take your men away and leave the woman behind. I can pretend that you never came and won't pursue the matter. Today, I must take my people away. Lin Heng held her arm tightly. She was touched by the sense of security she felt at that moment. She knew that although Lin Heng was a man of few words, he was very reliable. Do you know how you're going to fight against my men with just a dozen people? Tell me, is your blade faster or our spear faster? After Wang Kuan said that, his subordinates behind him all took out their pistols. Han Yueyao immediately tensed up. Seeing her fear, Lin Heng pulled her behind him. Don't be afraid. I'm here, he said. Chapter 43-40. When the guns in the room were aimed at Han Yueyao and Lin Heng. At that moment, it was extremely hair-raising. Those people weren't holding toy guns that could kill people at any moment. Han Yueyao knew Lin Heng's strength was no match for Su Yu's, so she was worried for him. To her surprise, Lin Heng wasn't afraid. He smirked and sneered, "Old thing, if you dare to shoot at us, then your little wife and son will die too." Hearing Lin Heng's words, the old man was slightly stunned. "Kid, what do you mean?" "I mean it literally." Lin Heng's words were vague. The old man took out his phone with trembling hands and dialed the familiar number, but he couldn't get through. Who? Yes. Go and see if Meha and Dong Dong are in the mansion at First Royal Court. Before his subordinate could agree, Lin Heng smiled. "Don't waste time. Let me show you a video." Then, Lin Heng turned on his phone and played a short video to the old man. In the video, a woman and a boy who looked to be only 4 or 5 years old were tied up in a small dark room. "Lin, how dare you touch my son?" This old man had a son at an old age, and he doted on his wife, Xiao Meha, the most because she gave birth to a son for him 5 years ago. In recent years, he had doted on her very much. First Royal Court, where the mother and son lived, was also a famous wealthy area. "We're the same. You touched my woman, so of course I have to pay you back. So, the spring festival is coming, you'd better not cause any trouble. I'll take my woman away safely, and I'll return your concubine and son to you unharmed. What do you think?" After Lin Heng finished speaking, everyone fell silent. "Of course, if you can't take this lying down, you can shoot us. If that happens, there will be a lot of casualties. If the Public Security Bureau comes looking for you, I'm afraid you won't be able to explain yourself. Most importantly, if I don't return safely, your wife and child might be thrown into the sea to feed the sharks." Lin Heng's threat was indeed ruthless. The old man was trembling with anger, but he couldn't say a word. Finally, he closed his eyes and said, "Let them go." "Boss." His subordinates seemed unconvinced. "I said, let them go." "Yes." With his order, Lin Heng and Han Yueyao walked out of the door easily. In the middle of the night, he thought that he was going to die here today, but it turned out to be a false alarm. When they got into the car and left, Han Yueyao looked at Lin Heng gratefully. "How did you know I was here?" "Ever since you became famous, there have been a lot of haters attacking you. Occasionally, they would throw eggs, mineral water bottles, and so on. I feel that your safety must be guaranteed, so I let a few of my little brothers secretly protect your safety. But don't worry, they have absolutely no intention of following you." "I don't think so." Han Yueyao immediately explained. "I know. I just wanted to explain it to you. That's why when Erliai and the others called me today and said that you were captured by that old bastard Wang Kun, I knew that it wasn't anything good. I quickly called my brothers over. Luckily, you're fine. Aren't you in the hospital? Why did you run out? You're a patient in the ICU." Han Yueyao was really touched. No one had ever treated her so well. Chapter 43-41. "Miss Han, you have no idea how crazy Big Brother Lin was when he heard that you were in danger. We told him to wait for news at the hospital while we came to save you, but he was still worried and insisted on coming out on his own. Because of this, he even quarreled with the doctors at South Side and made the nurses cry, 'Shut up. Don't talk nonsense.' Lin Heng was embarrassed, so he quickly told his brothers to shut up and not talk nonsense. Han Yueyao wasn't an ungrateful person and knew how protective Lin Heng was of her. However, she wasn't someone who liked to stir up emotions, so she quickly changed the topic. "Today, I, Han Yueyao, would like to thank Brother Lin and everyone for saving my life. How about this, I'll treat everyone to Hadaleo." "Really, that's great. How much will these people cost?" It's not easy for you to earn money. We won't be picky. Lin Heng was naturally considerate of Han Yueao and didn't want her to spend too much money. It's okay, it's okay. I'm a small-time celebrity now. Let's go now. With one sentence, Han Yueao sent 3 cars to the largest restaurant in the city, Heideleo. The restaurant was open 24 hours a day and the service was excellent. Although the dishes were a little expensive, they were exquisite. For people in the cold north, being able to eat a hot pot at night when the temperature was -30 degrees Celsius was a very happy thing. Seeing how determined Han Yueao was, Lin Heng didn't turn her down in the end. He followed her. More than a dozen people sat in a private room. Han Yueao felt that a few words couldn't be enough to thank him for saving her life. So, she created a WeChat group during the meal. Lin Heng was the group leader, and Han Yueao sent dozens of red packets, causing a rain of red packets. His brothers also kept snatching red packets. Han Yueao sent out about 50,000 yuan in half an hour. Lin Heng's brothers more or less snatched a few thousand yuan. Everyone was very happy. Money was a small matter. The most important thing was to be angry. Han Yueao then sent a big red packet with the words, Lin Heng picks up bag. These brothers were very self-aware and didn't follow suit. Lin Heng opened it and saw that it was an 188. 88 red packet. Han Yueao sent 5 in a row. Lin Heng didn't want to accept it, but everyone cheered. Then, he opened it one by one and received the red packets. Han Yueao was very happy. Everyone ate and drank until 3 in the morning. Lin Heng's SSS sent Han Yueao's brothers. But 5 minutes after Lin Heng, she received a call from one of Lin Heng's friends. Mississippi, Little Hui, tell me. You're not asleep, are you? Did I disturb you? No. Today's big brother Lin. What notice? Han Yueao was surprised. TSSSSSSTSSSTSSS. No, what notice it? What notice? It's a notice. TTT no TSSSS. TSTSS. I'm here. Han Yueao felt that her voice was weak. Lin Heng really likes you. It's not because he wants to poach you. When Xiao Xiao was around, she was pretty and wanted to sleep with Big Brother Lin, but Big Brother Lin rejected her. We all know that Xiao Xiao is from a rich family. If he could get her, he wouldn't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of his life. But Big Brother Lin doesn't care about that. He's very stubborn and he has to like himself. Until you appeared. Although you rejected him, he still wants to treat you well. He's in such a serious condition now, but he still thinks about you. The brothers are all very touched when they saw this, but the doctor also said that Big Brother Lin's condition is very bad right now. That's impossible. We have to find a kidney for him as soon as possible. There must be a way. Han Yueao tried not to cry. Chapter 43-42. After hanging up the phone, Han Yueao couldn't calm down for a long time. Then, she made a move. She called Qin Chu in the middle of the night. In fact, Han Yueao wasn't close to Qin Chu, she was more familiar with Huamin. But last time when she went to GK to see Qin Chu, he told her that Mian wasn't feeling well. So, Han Yueao didn't dare to call Huamin, she could only call Qin Chu. Lin Heng's life was at stake, so she couldn't care less about avoiding suspicion. Fortunately, Qin Chu's cell phone was on 24/7, and he hadn't been sleeping well recently. When he received Han Yueao's call, Qin Chu was looking at a family photo album on his cell phone. When he saw Mian, tears welled up in his eyes, a familiar melody sounded. Qin Chu glanced at the caller ID and picked up the phone. Qin Chu, hello? Han Yueao, President Qin, I apologize in advance. I shouldn't have bothered you so late. Qin Chu, what's the matter? Speak. Han Yueao, I told you about my friend last time. Today, the hospital informed him that he's critically ill. Qin Chu didn't speak. Han Yueyao, he's a very, very good person. In this city, he and Xiao Xiao are my only true friends, so I don't want anything to happen to him. I heard that you've bought South Side and the First Hospital. President Qin, you're a medical genius. Can you think of a way to save my friend? I won't ask for your help for free, I'll pay for the surgery. If you're willing to do the surgery for my friend, I'm willing to pay for it. I won't take advantage of you just because I'm Mion's friend. Afraid that Qin Chu would reject her, Han Yueyao said a lot of things. Qin Chu still didn't speak. Han Yueyao was desperate. She knew that Qin Chu had always been cold and aloof. Han Yueyao, President Qin, please. Qin Chu, I've read his medical records. Lin Hang's condition is indeed very bad. Han Yueyao, do you lack a suitable kidney? If necessary, I can go to the hospital to check if it's suitable. Han Yueyao knew that losing a kidney wasn't life-threatening. If it could save Lin Hang, she was willing to do it. Qin Chu, it's not about the kidney anymore. Let me put it this way. Even if we find a suitable kidney and perform a kidney transplant on him, his chances of survival are slim. She was startled. What do you mean? I've been contacting my professor at Harvard in the States. In fact, even if Han Yueyao hadn't asked him today, Qin Chu had planned to call her tomorrow morning. After all, the girl begged him. She was Hua Mion's friend and Su Yu's artist, so he couldn't do anything about it. Qin Chu had analyzed Lin Hang's medical records and asked many authoritative experts to analyze it. Their results were the same. So, Southside issued the notice of critical illness with Qin Chu's tacit consent. Han Yueyao's call to Qin Chu could only confirm the result, it couldn't change anything. Hearing Qin Chu's words, Han Yueyao's voice trembled. President Qin, then my friend is hopeless. She's dead for sure, right? You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.